Judy from QNAP. Today we're going to talk about the newly feedback, SD-WAN, and more in our forum platforms or YouTuber. Is the 4 points. First is the speed. For 160, do gaming or to let the device to will be done automatically. But for some environment, if you need security request, this function to communicate with routers one by one. The risk can be to the benefits of when the bandwidth usage is full. Our QHora-301W makes sure that the protocol that we support is for you to buy just one account from this way. If you have some connection on the DDNS page, hopefully you are able to use this function that will fulfill your networking environment. From regional ISP will require cloud platforms such as AWS or Google Cloud. This way, they can connect their QHora-301W to AWS, such as small and medium business. So QHora-301W is a router that can fully replace the existing router. Advanced network settings, we will configuration such as perfectly combine the hardware layer and the department. And each department can take a look about my PC. We will demo the status, device status, networking status, and wireless status. Easy, so you can just select service class. Talk about this later. Set 3 roles, so you can see these 3 roles are synchronized with my QHora-301W client. Or you can have this is the DNS features that we just released. You can set it here. Here are some more of the LAN information. Here are the VLAN setting. You can group, because I don't have a VLAN right now. You can here we just have the default ones. You can add more groups here, and then in the firewall roles you can select the VLAN. Here's the static routing. For the static routing, this page is synchronized with the orchestrator. So you can also set the static route at orchestrator 2. You can see this page and my QHora are the same. Here's the wireless setting. We have default of the 3 VIP groups. I'm only enabling one of it. And I enable the Smart Connect, so the 2.4 gig and 5 gig band settings become the same. Here are some more advanced settings for my wireless support, such as MIMO or DFS. You can select your transmission power, or you can select 160 megahertz for your router if you need a high bandwidth for your router. Here are some more of the firewall settings. You can also set their priorities just by drag and drop the roles. NAT settings or port forwarding. Here's a UPnP setting. I enabled it, but there's no service going on right now. So if you have UPnP service, it will list it here. You just have to choose which WAN interface that you need for the UPnP service. Here's the DDNS settings for myQNAPcloud. You can select the path for connection between your QRouter and myQNAPcloud. QVPN server. QVPN client is the newly released feature. We currently support OpenVPN. In order to use I'm not able to use it right now because I have connect my QHora to QWAN. When you're using QWAN, you cannot use QVPN client. But when you are not using QWAN and you want to watch region-limited videos or news, you can just enable it and import your OpenVPN file from such as Cloud VPN services and the connection profiles will be listed here. You can manage your, here's the QVPN server for QHora. The server and client can be used, the server and client cannot be enabled at the same time. Server can be enabled when QN is enabled. They can be used at the same time. Just the L2TP protocol cannot be enabled while using QN. For now, I've already enabled QBelt and OpenVPN protocol for QHora to become a VPN server. And here's my client list. I have multiple devices if you have multiple devices at home, you can set each account for your device so they can use different protocol to connect to your QHora. Here's the parental control. You can set your roles. If you don't want your kids to go to certain website, you can set it here and add device to block it. Here are some basic system settings. We have 2 USB ports, so you can set your USB as the FTP server and just connect it by external or internal link. Here's our newest firmware 1.4.2.0001. So if we go back to PowerPoint, in QHora-301W, we just finished the overview of our QRouter OS. If this is your first time listening to the QHora-301W, you may be not familiar with the QRouter OS. So now you can start. We will talk about general information about the QHora-301W. It can be your first step towards next generation networking. So what do you need to become a next generation networking router? First of all, you have to support Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6 is a higher speed Wi-Fi protocol for it's commonly used right now. It provides high-speed connectivity by using the revolutionary combination of such as OFDMA, MIMO, and BSS covering. This will give you like a higher capacity of taking more data at the same time. And you can transfer, the router can be communicate with different devices at the same time as well. So give you a higher wireless speed. And since in 2020, more and more client devices begin to support Wi-Fi 6. So you are able to truly use the wireless speed of Wi-Fi 6 right now. For 8 internal antennas, most of the internal antennas are provided up to Wi-Fi 5. But for QHora-301W will provide 8 internal antennas for Wi-Fi 6. This Wi-Fi internal antennas will, the antennas are stationed, so you don't need to adjust the antenna angle, and you provide we have already optimized the signals to support your large homes or backyards. We provide 8 of the antennas for 2.4 band, 4 of the antennas for 5G band. And this router provides up to 3600 megabits per second wireless speed. The wireless speeds are calculated from both bands, from 5G and from 2.4G. And the 160 megahertz per second, you can select this bandwidth if you are in the area that are governed by below, such as CEIC, NCC, TELEC, and OFCA safety regulations. When your areas are governed by these safety regulations, you are able to enable the 160 megahertz per second channels. From the very beginning of developing QHora, we really focusing on the great performance of wireless speed. So we built a high standard lab that is comply with the TR-398 broadband forum standards. This standard was released in 2019. So it's a very new standard. And the 3 chamber it's very huge. That's like 3 rooms. The size is 7 times 4 times 3 meters and 5 times 4 times 3 meters. We're trying to let QHora to be in an environment that's similar to what it will actually be, such as coffee shop or small office. And we do the point-to-point test for QHora and multi-client test. We put AX200 on high-performance NAS to make the NAS to become a Wi-Fi 6 NAS. And we put about 32 Wi-Fi 6 NAS to do the same. To do the multiple client test. Here's the QHora-301W performance. For 160 MHz per second, will provide up to 1.6 gig throughput speed, and for 80 megabits per second, for 80 megahertz, we provide up to 900 megabits per second speed. Is that under the spec of provide up to 9.6 gigabits per second and 18 routing. Spec will also meet the needs of remote backup. Also, we provide subscription-free SD-WAN on QHora-301W that optimize your network. That belongs to your organization. QNAP is a complete SD-WAN solution and provides for IT and secure for an efficient network connection structure. Just connect to cloud and build VPN tunnels with all other devices in the same organization at just one portal, and see the location of where it is in the world and the topology settings of the organization. And you can set one settings for all devices at the same time. Here's the hardware appearance of QHora-301W. We provide 4 of the 1 gig port and 2 of the 10 gig port and 2 of the USB. In order for QHora to have a powerful performance, we provide the IPQ8072A quad-core processor from Qualcomm. This let QHora to handle the 10 gig throughput network transmission. And also, in this digital transformation world, we have many IoT devices. When they are all connected to QHora, you'll need around at least 1 gigabit system memory for QHora to support more concurrent users. And we provide 4 GB of the flash storage to support QVPN and SD-WAN services. Another highlight about QHora is that it is fanless. So this router can be quiet when at a high performance and maintain an efficient speed between 0 to 40 Celsius temperature. Here's some more about the hardware spec and how to use the 2 of the 10 gig port. You can set 2 of the 10 gig port both to be WAN. This way, when you need a high-speed intranet routing or backup or data transmission, sometimes you have more people in your home offices that are accessing the same servers or doing data backup. For the 10 gig, 2 of the 10 gig port to set a LAN port. It's easier for you to achieve a higher speed backup and share or file sharing in the LAN environment. Or if you need to cross-region backup, you can set one of the 10 gig port to be WAN and the other one to be LAN for streamlined cross-site file backup or synchronization. Or you can set 2 of the 1 gig port to be WAN for you to have WAN, so that when you are having important or data backup, the transmission will not stop, will not be interrupted. And also if you enable QWAN on QHora when you are using two The QWAN will help you to do WAN aggregation and failover and load balancing. For the subscription-free SD-WAN, as long as you connect your QHora to the QWAN orchestrator, the orchestrator will help you build multi-site VPN with all other QHoras in the same organization. So this way, all of the QHora are becoming a private network. For QHora to have a mesh VPN with all other routers, you need to have public IP for now. In this topology, it's suitable for network architecture that requires fast and multiple route networks. So in the traditional networking structure, you have a data center, so all branch offices or all router the traffic will have to route through the headquarter router. For the mesh VPN, you don't need to do that. For the file transfer or VoIP, it can directly go to its destination without going through the routing in data center. Another flexible VPN topology is hub and spoke. This topology is suitable for network architecture that requires fast deployment or for extension or backup. If you don't have a public IP, you only have private IP, you can set your QHora to be H in the topology. So all the data transfer will go through a hub. Here's the concept of the QWAN network topology. We have, in the same organization, we have two main domain, which is global domain and China domain. So all the hub in global domain will have a built mesh VPN with each other. Same as in China domain. For the two domain to connect, you will have to apply for MPLS from the ISP in one of the domain and set the internet to our mini hub and H. Automatically allowed uninterrupted operations when you are doing the sets. For load balancing, we provide an MPTCP technology on QHora so that once it's sending packet to its destination, the QHora will detect the current networking status and send the packet to the networking status that are good, which means the jitter and delay and packet loss conditions is low. You can also enable QWAN with QVPN. This way, when you're outside your office and trying to connect back to SD-WAN network, you can use a QBelt to call back to your QHora-301W and go into your SD-WAN network. For QWAN orchestrator, you can just type in qwan.qnap.com and log in with your QID. You are able to see this cloud platform. And you can go to QHora-301W, the QWAN page, select the organization, region, and site, and network role, and you are able to connect the device to QWAN orchestrator. On the orchestrator, if you have many QHoras in the world, you can see their geological location and the IP status. For those devices to become a private network, their IP subnet is important. They cannot have conflict. So this for IT admin to plan the IP subnet for each devices. This page is important for them to remind them that which subnet are already used. You can also see the traffic report on orchestrator. Here's the QWAN enabling page on QHora. Let's take a look at the orchestrator here. Here's what it looks like on the orchestrator. For my QHora that I just demoed before is the QHora AI 2021. You can simply click on it. It will take you to the device detail. Here, dashboard or system status to see the CPU or memory status or traffic report. Here's the contact information, and here's the QoS settings. You can edit the service class, percentage, support, and add more roles here. I've added 3 roles, which is called Skype is important, gaming is not important, so that they have different service class. This will be implemented on QHora. The static routing, you can also set the static route on QN Orchestrator too. Here's the topology setting. You can select which device to be hub. Currently, we only have 1 hub. Here's the subnet summary. In the overview page, you're able to take a look at the WAN and device status here. So for now, we have already 6 devices here on my QN Orchestrator. So I'm able to manage all 6 devices at the same time. So QHora is your best choice to take you to the next generation routing. We also provide Wi-Fi 6, 10 dual of the 10 gig port and SD-WAN at the same device. So take a look. If you don't know how to set up the QHora with QWAN at your company, you're welcome to contact me. Here's my email, and we have already helped many small and medium business or home office to set up QWAN with QHora. It's very easy for them to use, and you can, so the administrator can just manage all devices at the same platform. Thank you for watching this video.